Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back. We live in a very weird world, in a very weird time. We're headed into a Super Bowl that a lot of people will largely ignore, not just because of the two teams that are in it. Some people really enjoy the Seahawks and the Patriots, but that's not even the point. It's the halftime show that's turning off a giant chunk of America, and worse yet, a giant chunk of players. We've got some stories, we've got some options, and we've got some controversy that the league doesn't want to deal with, and that's not a good way to answer an argument. You need to know what it is that the people are complaining about and what it is that you can do to fix it, and whether or not Bad Bunny was a poor choice doesn't matter anymore, because it's still what you're going to get, along with all the terrible politics and all the terrible visuals that are in store. Let's talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, here's a real quick reminder. Double check you're still subscribed to the channel. Look down there. Make sure that that little button says subscribed. If not, it's red, and click on it to turn it gray. It'll subscribe you to the channel. Hit the little bell icon next to it and turn on all notifications. That way you don't miss anything. And then do me a huge favor. Watch this one video all the way to the end. I'll try not to take too much of your time, and then watch another one of my videos. Because why? Well, you have a better chance of not getting unsubscribed from the channel if you watch 2 consecutive videos from the channel. I know that seems weird, but that's YouTube, and they tell us that's the truth. So let's not start with this particular news story. Let's start here instead. Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show sparks debate over language, politics, and everything else that comes along with him. Even when he made a guest appearance during a previous Super Bowl back in, I think, 2020, you had Shakira and Jennifer Lopez as part of that one. All of these shows are put together by the terribleness that is Jay-Z, and now all of the associated problems that he brings. Now, Newsweek wrote this article. It's not that old, February 4th, so basically it's a day ago. You can go find this if you want to. But Jesus Mesa wrote this, saying, days after being announced as the headliner in the 2026 Super Bowl halftime, Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny appeared on stage at Saturday Night Live's Hallowed Studios 8H to share the news. In his native Spanish, it was a moment many Latinos in the United States embraced as a cultural win. Well, I'm not going to argue with that. It definitely is a change. But perhaps it also comes with some divisiveness. If you didn't understand what I just said, you have 4 months to learn. In other words, learn Spanish. That's not what football's for. Football's a sport. Sporting events bring people together. They don't divide them. And by introducing a language barrier, you're not helping. And while we have to put up with a number of people in this nation creating a constant divide, we shouldn't have to do that in our entertainment. And after all, isn't that what football is?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
At least I think it is, but maybe I'm wrong. He delivered that all with a smile. The line ricocheted across the cable news, social media, and political commentary channels, even this one. I think I talked about it at the time. And it became a shorthand for backlash that had little to do with the music itself, which I still find uninteresting. He's just not that kind of artist for me, and that's fine. If he's your cup of tea, enjoy it. But there won't be as many people watching it because there's going to be an alternative, and we'll get to that in a moment. So, of course, this is couched in political terms. It's Newsweek, after all. Conservative lawmakers and pundits framed the booking as a provocation. Some, like Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's retiring, by the way, and Fox News pundit Tomi Lahren, questioned why the Super Bowl, still seen by many as the apex of American culture, it is an American league after all, would hand its biggest stage to an artist who performs exclusively in Spanish. The president, Donald Trump, called the decision absolutely ridiculous before admitting he didn't even know who Bad Bunny was. And to be fair, he's not alone. Americans truly don't know who this man is. I mean, there are going to be certain Americans that do, a certain percentage of the population, and perhaps they enjoy his music and his divisiveness. I don't know. but the man is a living piece of controversy, and it causes a divide that everybody claims they're trying to get away from. Remember, all-inclusive doesn't seem to include conservatives. I think that's bad business. I think it's a bad decision, and I think it's bad for the NFL. But outside of the political ecosystem, the decision was received very indifferently. Within the music and sports industries, Bad Bunny's selection was widely seen as a reflection of scale, timing, and reach, a calculation overseen by Roc Nation, which is Jay-Z's music empire, and it served as the NFL's halftime booking partner since 2019. And maybe that'll change. A lot of owners are hoping it'll change. I hope it'll change. How about you? Let me know. Do you think Jay-Z, with everything he's rumored to be involved in, needs to be maybe kept out of major events, cultural events like this, like the NFL and halftime? I don't know. People may enjoy his music, his performance, or his wife, but is he the right choice to unify everybody? Hard to say. My guess is no. But that seems to have been a lie by Newsweek, and whether or not they intended to tell a lie or not, they certainly didn't have the data. There's no vast majority of sports figures that were jumping on board, and a new poll reveals how NFL players really feel about Bad Bunny performing in the Super Bowl halftime show. It's not all wine and roses. Bad Bunny ignites tensions with ICE before the Super Bowl. Why? Well, he decided to pop off during the Grammys.
I'm going to say eyes out.
And point to a tiny little button. And a reminder, buttons change nothing. It doesn't matter if you wear a button or a ribbon. Go watch Bill Maher for his latest thoughts on it. But NFL players revealed how they really feel about Bad Bunny performing at this year's Super Bowl halftime show. The rapper proving just as divisive as the league as he is throughout the rest of the United States. And again, I'm not sure many people could pick him out of a lineup. I'm sure he'll find himself there one day, but probably for an entirely different reason. And that is a joke. If you want to learn how to tell one, Trevor Noah.
Almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton's.
But the Puerto Rican artist, whose real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, will take the stage at Levi's Stadium in, well, Santa Clara, California, as the performer for the end of the season finale in San Francisco, despite fierce opposition, because there's a lot of people not interested. The announcement in late September met with a backlash from MAGA-leaning NFL fans. MAGA-leaning NFL fans. Well, yeah. The people who keep faith in football alive as a tradition from high school through college up into pros does seem to lean pretty heavily into Christianity. And apparently that's a great evil that's called out by everyone, including the folks over at the Daily Mail, where I'm getting this particular article. I have a problem with that. Do you? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Well, the league stars themselves remained quiet and coy on the controversy until now, something they've learned because of other divisive figures in their recent past, including Colin Kaepernick. But in an anonymous poll, NFL players have revealed their opinion on Bunny, who won 3 awards at the Grammys, making them increasingly irrelevant on Sunday night. Being selected as this season's performer, well, while the MAGA world is up in arms over the selection, the NFL appears to be fairly neutral. That's an interesting way to describe it. He's the first Spanish-language artist to perform on the Super Bowl's halftime stage. Well, I believe Jennifer Lopez and many others, including Shakira, probably speak more than one language, but we won't dive too deeply into the lack of accuracy, again, over at the Daily Mail. The league was fairly split in the Athletics poll, revealing that a narrow majority, split 58.6%, that the players liked the decision. That's not an overwhelming majority, it's a slight one, and 41.4% were unhappy with the league's choice. They were citing a lack of familiarity with Bunny's music or a preference for other artists, and most of the players are totally fine with a country performer or performances, and something that is a little more unified in its acceptance in the United States of America. But the good news is there's a choice, one that I think a lot of people are going to choose. In fact, they might choose it and still not choose to watch any part of the Super Bowl. I'm in that audience for the reason that I no longer enjoy the NFL and feel like the game has been compromised for a long period of time by poor officiating, poor leadership, and basically poor decision making that led to a less valuable product on the field. It's better just to watch college and high school games on the weekends and find the joy, the simple joy, in that kind of sport and camaraderie. That's what I like, but your choices may vary. Let me know if you even watch the NFL anymore in the comments section below. Your option is this: Turning Point USA. They're launching a rival halftime show just like they announced several months ago, with a star-studded lineup as NFL fans, Super Bowl backlash explodes. And for anybody to try and contend that there hasn't been an issue here since this announcement was made several months ago, on February 8th, there's a competitor, so I guess we'll find out. I'm curious if you would like to share. Let me know if you're going to watch that halftime there during, well, what the NFL would normally run as a giant commercial and spectacle that was supposed to have broad appeal. So as I wrap up my opinion, I'll ask you for yours. Do you think the NFL crossed the line by picking out Bad Bunny and allowing for Jay-Z to continue to fill the space with controversy and divisiveness? Do you think that the league at some point will draw a line and stop dividing America further or participating in it? Do you think that Roger Goodell, despite being an attorney, is not making the best call for the league? And finally, do you think you'll even be watching the Super Bowl yourself? Are you a fan of the Sea Chickens and the Patriots? Let me know your thoughts on any or all of these things down in the comments section below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. Just not watching the Super Bowl halftime show. At least not me.